Hello, everyone. Welcome to your total solar eclipse Sagittarius. I am Natalie, spelled Natalee. This is your last Sagittarius solar eclipse for another many years. I think it's like 8 or 9 years or so, and then 18 and a half years for it to be quite like this. So, my loves, I'm titling this video Free Your Mind, Neo, because that's the point. This total solar eclipse is the sun and the moon and Mercury. You can go back to November 30th and see what revelations, what insights, what thoughts, perspectives, what was shifting around for you around that day, because that's part of this energy imprinted into the next 6 months for you. I will be taking this over to the flip side and do a sign by sign breakdown afterwards. Today is also the crypto sesh for anyone that likes cryptocurrency. I'm right. I did it. I cracked the code. I did it and it worked. And it's like that's exciting too. We had a breakthrough last night in psychokinesis and telekinesis Thursdays. Congratulations. We have another student right there. So close. I'm working on bringing in a guest person to talk to my students and do a demonstration, talk about the experience. This is someone that has been moving things around with their mind since they were a small child, a little boy. Their grandfather taught them. And so I just want my students to have another perspective, someone that's been doing it for a very long time, to ask them questions and get feedback and, get little anecdotes. Those are always so much fun. So I'm really excited for that. That's going to be really fun. There's one spot left in that class. That's in the Hierophant High Priestess tier over on Patreon. It's a specialized group Zoom session. You get a special Zoom invite for that. And so that's that. That's like the happiest part, like the best part of my week, to be honest. So happy and so proud. Okay, so back to the Sagittarius total solar. Hey, welcome. Hey, Tom Kisik, welcome. Welcome, everybody. If there's anything that happens with this feed, it becomes a podcast because I've just been having internet connection issues trying to post on Instagram stories, and it's just been like a thing for me today. So sorry about that if that happens. Okay, so this, like I said, is this is the end of a year and a half of this eclipse family. You started changing your perceptions and your perspectives really in June 2020, in the spring of 2020. I do have the other eclipses here. So there was a lunar eclipse May 26th of this year. That was in Sagittarius, more forced freedom. And what I mean by forced freedom is like, oh, we get fired, we lose our job, we get broken up with, blah, 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 blah. It's something that maybe in the moment we're like scared of, or we're scared to lose, or it's just like life doesn't look the way we want it to. But ultimately, it opens up our options. It opens up our potentialities. There was another one, December 2020. That was the total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. So that I have right here when we were like really realigning. And also that was also with Mercury. There was that combustion happening. So it's like how I talked about it then was burning the dry leaves of your mind. Any kind of confusion just goes right out the window. And then June of 2020. I even have that one here. Look at my good record keeping. Oh, thank you, Al, for the folders. I love them so much. Thank you. I have an Amazon wish list in the link below. Send me food. Thank you. And there's one of the mints that are able to be sent out, and I'm working on the other ones because the one that can be sent to me is like really expensive. It's like $50. I just feel so bad. I want you guys to be able to send me like the one box. Anyway, so the Sagittarius, please don't give up on me. Full moon lunar eclipse. That was Friday, June 5th, 2020. That was a huge one. So basically what you've been doing is pulling apart your ideas, pulling apart what you thought. Everybody. Okay. Now, Sagittarius is the sign. This is the energy of mentors and teachers and where and how you're sharing experience with others. So that's why Sagittarius can be tactless and overpromise and be like very inflated. You can inflate and exaggerate your experience to prove a point. We're going to see a lot of that. That's just going to be part of this. But, this is a big mental reset for you. So, you want to give yourself the gift of the empty cup Sagittarius is about where we take the transformative experiences, having survived Scorpio season, that deep catharsis, all these big things happening, and taking a step back so that we can decide what we think about life, our lives, what we think about relationships and the nature of relating, what we just think about everything, people, life, everything, death, everything, and come up with our own personal philosophy. So, life has been showing us that whatever we thought we knew, topsy turvy. So, the more resistant we are to this, because remember, these are mutable signs. We're supposed to be sort of flexible. That's what the mutable signs help us do, is to be kind of flexible as we move through the different seasons and through the different signs. So, when you have experiences and you come out the other end, you decide what that experience was to you. No one gets to tell you that for you. No one gets to tell you how to feel or what you should be feeling or what you should have made of an experience. Likewise, before you walk into an experience, be really careful that you don't prejudge it, because this Sun and Moon and Mercury squaring Neptune and Pisces. Don't judge what you have yet to experience. Okay? You don't know what's over there. You've never tried it before, so don't prejudge it. Okay? That's going to be a big thing, because you guys are walking into some new different experiences over the next 6 months, and if you prejudge it, it's just going to be even more of a surprise, and that cognitive dissonance is going to eventually just snap and break, and that's kind of what's just been happening for all of us over the last year and a half. So I'm just saying, like, that square is pulling apart, it's dissolving, breaking apart your belief in a conclusion of a former experience. So a lot of judgments that you've already made are being overturned now. You're seeing it in a whole new light. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Or, oh, it's not, oh, I had it totally wrong. It was totally different, actually. And likewise, you're going to be looking at some experiences that are waiting for you. And instead of prejudging them, you're going to be emptying your cup and saying, oh my God, I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to be great, actually. Or I think I think I want to tweak this and that. Okay. So don't be afraid to be open okay. Like right now, the moon is so dark that you might feel like like you're being pulled and guided towards something, and you don't have the big picture, because Sagittarius is the big picture. Sagittarius is that bird's eye view and able to see how, God, my hands are so big, my arms are so long. You might not feel like you have the whole thing figured out. You're not supposed to. It's totally okay. It's In fact, it's better to just like go on for the ride and just go along and just trust your guidance, because you might have a piece over here. You might be needing more information over here. It might be all kind of all over the place, and you might be stressing out like, well, I don't know how this is going to work out, or I don't know how this fits in with my life, or I don't get it. It's okay. Neo didn't know. Neo just went with Trin, right? Like he just followed the white rabbit, that little tattoo. Oh my God. Okay. So this month we have, and it's part of this eclipse, the Saturn squaring to Earth. I feel like I'm talking so loud, but that's actually part of Sagittarius energy, is that they're very loud talkers. So are Aries and Leos. But anyway, um, so the white rabbits. Oh, that's right. Okay, so this month we have not the last. There's actually going to be another square in October 2022, but this month we have our third of the year, the square between Uranus and Taurus and Saturn in Aquarius. And it's coming out, it's happening like that week that Matrix 4 comes out. And Matrix 4 comes out the same day that Venus conjuncts Pluto for the second time, when Venus is retrograde. So Venus is going forward, hits Pluto. That's next Friday. Moves forward, stops, goes retrograde, goes backwards, hits Pluto again. That's when Matrix comes out, passes Pluto, and then it's going to station direct, and it's going to go forward again. And at the end of the beginning of March, it's going to hit Pluto again. So you're not going to know. This is like a whole phase. December, January, February into 2022 is its own little life, its own little time capsule. Whatever you think you know now, just let it go. Just let it go. Go with what you're guided to. Go follow your curiosity. What are you being interested in? What are you like attracted to? What are you curious about? What do you have a feeling about? Go with that. Go with that. Okay. Back to the Matrix. So I feel I feel like there's gonna be another big worldwide headline like the Texas snowstorm grid, like GameStop, like the Suez Canal. It's gonna be like that, and I feel like it's gonna be something that really connects to the Matrix movies, and it's gonna everyone's gonna fall in love with that franchise, with that character, with that story all over again, just like the very beginning. But doesn't exist anymore. That beginning is gone. 1999 is gone, okay? So, it's gonna be like nostalgia, but the new, taking the best of the past, leaving the toxic stuff of the past, homage. I always say homage because 'cause I'm a dork, but it's gonna be so I feel like it's gonna be something with decentralized systems, with technology, maybe with computers, government. There's gonna be like something, but I feel like it's gonna like really just align with the culture with Matrix 4 coming out. I think it's gonna be freaking amazing. Everyone go see it. It's just very excited about it. Okay, sorry, back to your total solar eclipse. So you're resetting, okay? Your ideas about your prejudgments are being pulled apart. And this is where we get to really decide who we're going to be and how we're going to think. Not don't be like what you think. It's how you think. How you think, an open mind. And don't worry about convincing anybody else. It doesn't matter. If you're really secure with yourself, you don't need to convince anybody else of anything, of what you believe, of who you love, of what you want to do with your life, of where you want to live. You don't have to prove it to anybody else. If you know it within your own heart and soul that that is true for you, that's all you need. So just like mute out the cacophony, cacophony of other people's voices. Okay. The only bad thing about this, and I am going to make a judgment on this part because people are going to lock into their beliefs. People are going to really lock in. And I did have a vision about the future with children, how kids meeting like at a playground or meeting at schools are going to have totally different life experiences of 2020, totally different visions of the world because of the vision in their household. And it's going to be really contrasted. It's going to be like night and day, like really separated worlds, separated experiences. That's why the family, the nuclear family, watch Natalie on my Instagram is energy mastery for the individual, and the Artigan on Instagram is energy mastery for the family. So it's like more wholesome when you're little babies. Okay. But it's like the nuclear family, that household is the most important thing. It is the most important thing. Okay. So it's like, I also want to say, stay away from crowds. I'm not even talking about medically, like the virus or anything. I mean, I'm talking about like stay away from crowds, like for every other reason under the sun. For the crowds are just not, don't just, I'm not, like I said, I'm not even talking about like pandemic stuff or anything. I'm just saying like, just stay away from the crowds. So this Sagittarius energy, like I said, being really combust. It's like I said before, it's like burning away these dead leaves, like that healthy kind of forest fire that clears away the debris. There's some that's already been rotting that you're like, it's ready to be fleshed out. You're ready to get rid of it, ready to let it go, ready to let it go. And life is showing you that. Life is showing where it's like very outdated and very much part of the past. Okay. So, like I said, don't judge what you've yet to experience. Give it a chance. Remember, debating is about what is right, and arguing is about who is right, because there's going to be a lot of egos. There's going to be a lot of people that are very insecure about what they believe, so they feel like they have to fight and they have to convince and they have to push because that's the low side of Sagittarius energy, is trying to like push your ideas and push your beliefs and like fight and be defensive and be really like aggressive. Anyone being very aggressive with the beliefs, that's like a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag. The green flag is someone talking or engaging and sharing. Remember, there's a difference here. The positive Sagittarius energy is sharing experience, sharing this perspective. The negative low vibration is aggressively pushing, forcing, being defensive, being angry. What's the vibe? Because if it's like, I'm so happy to share this with you, it's positive. And if it's like aggressive or manipulative, that's negative. That's a red flag. Okay. So you want to be careful because there's like that cultish energy where it's like, but you got to like discern here. And that's what I'm saying. Like people are going to lock in. and they're going to kind of decide. They're either going to decide, I am going to open my mind up, I am going to open my energy up and consider this. And even if it's not for you, remove the emotion out of it. There's no, even if someone believes something that you don't believe, you don't have to be angry about it. That's them. That's their karma. Let people own their karma, because you don't want anyone trying to push something onto you, you know? So that's just like, okay. I'm sure someone knows what that means. Okay. And what else do I want to say about this? Okay. Mars is trining Neptune at this time. So Neptune is squaring, challenging this last thing, this last big unraveling. But Mars is helping Neptune do this. Mars in Scorpio wants to change things, wants to transform, wants to alchemize, wants to die and be reborn as a phoenix. That's what Mars in Scorpio wants to do. Mars is stirring up something in your life. What were you like totally obsessed about in November when we had like the sun and the moon and it was very like high Scorpio energy? Mars is almost done on that thrill ride, but Mars trining Neptune. Don't sell yourself short. You want this. You want this on a conscious or subconscious level. The subconscious is 88 to 95% of your mind. So even if you're consciously thinking, I want to grow, I want to grow up, I want to evolve, I want to be able to do this with my life, I want to do that. Think of what you can do with your subconscious on your side. This Mars, I love this Mars trine Neptune. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. Now, the Sun, Moon, and Mercury are also trining Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer. This is the wound that never heals. The only way you feel better is when you teach other people and you help other people with the same wound that you have. Chiron being in Aries has made us all feel really insecure regarding taking the lead on something, being the first to do something, being a pioneer in something, or even just standing out and making an independent choice that maybe to our friends and family we temporarily lose credibility for, but we know that it's right for ourselves. So this trine is going to bring that up to the surface, like that insecurity, that lack of faith is going to, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your body. But remember, observe what you're feeling. Know that feeling is going to pass. Don't attach any story to it or intellectualize what you're feeling. Just observe it for what it is. Breathe it out, let it pass. Because this mental reset heals that deep insecurity that told you you can't, or told you who do you think you are, or told you this isn't right for you, or told you this is blah, 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 whatever. Okay. So that's that. And then the Sun, Moon, and Mercury, like I said, are squaring this Neptune energy. So any lies, any illusions, delusions, breaking apart, dissolving. If anyone's had an issue with substance abuse, getting out of a bad habit, all of that is good. It's like you're going to get to a point where it's like you don't even want to anymore, or you just change your mind about it. You might just go cold turkey and quit something, just like not even anyone telling you or anything, but just because it's like you make the independent free will choice for yourself, and you don't crave it anymore. You don't want it anymore. Okay. Saturn square Uranus, you have to change. Life has to change. Everything is hard in life, okay? It's hard to stay the same. It's hard to change. Choose your hard. What's worth it? I want you to choose that based on how you feel, how you want to feel. And then we have Venus in shadow. Venus is conjunct Pluto for like 3 weeks. So they're there. They're canoodling. Okay, first of all, Venus in Capricorn loves the occult, loves the spooky, loves astrology and tarot and psychic ability and telekinesis and psychokinesis, aerokinesis, loves all of that. So we're going to see that become more popular from now until the beginning of March. With Pluto, it's like going to the underworld and what's being brought up from the pits of your soul. So you guys know I like cemeteries. I walk cemeteries a lot. So sometimes gophers will bring up coffin handles, like 19th century coffin handles. And that's exactly what this is. Like a little gopher going 6 feet under and more and bringing something back up from the surface, in this case, a coffin handle. But what is this in your case? What are you realizing about your value systems, what you like, what you love, who you love? If there's any manipulation, any power plays, any power imbalances in your relationships, that's going to come up to the surface. That's going to come up. It'll be obvious. Um, and it's part of this mental reset. It's part of what you need to let go of and transform in order to free your mind. Free your mind of what's possible. You're only limited in this life by your own creativity, your own judgments. So when you release the pain, when you release the insecurities, when you release the fears, when you release the previous judgments, you can really do anything. I'm so excited to have this guest come in and show you guys. Oh my God. There's one spot left. That's one thing that I I myself had to overcome my own. I would tell you guys like on the channel, like don't even show anyone your abilities because no one's gonna believe you're gonna do things like they're gonna say do it again. And you're gonna do it again. And they're gonna say do it again. And you're gonna do it again. They're still not gonna believe you. I overcame that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this to convince anybody. I'm doing this for those of you that know you can do it, have already done it, already know you have psychic ability, already use your psychic ability. That's what I'm here for. Not to convince anyone, show off, parlor tricks, convince anybody of anything. I'm here for the people that already know. And us in our little group together, we had a breakthrough last night. Oh my God. For those of us that already know, we're in our own separate reality, just like other people are in their own separate reality. This Saturn in Aquarius over the next couple of years, remember, this is stress testing your groups, your tribes, your bonds. So different groups and companies and families and tribes are going to, and friend groups are going to break apart and new ones are going to form together. And it's going to be based on integrity. It's going to be based on individuality. It's going to be based on your belief systems. And it's going to be based on that commonality, that camaraderie, your comrades. So that's what I'm creating in my communities. The Artigan on Patreon, the Artigan on TikTok and Instagram, and here on YouTube. So look at that, watch that, look at that recipe. I am not wasting any time trying to convince anyone else or trying to include myself in anything else. No, if I'm not wanted somewhere, no, pull my energy back, put it into where they already know, they already appreciate, they are already practicing, so I can support and make that even stronger and better. Otherwise, it's a waste of my talent, it's a waste of my skill to try and be like, oh, trying to convince people. No. So when you guys come up against your family members, your friendships, your lovers that just don't get you, that just walk away, don't even try to fight that battle. You're not even trying to, it's not even about them. You're not even trying to prove it to them. You're trying to prove it to yourself. And that's what this trying to Chiron is healing, is your own insecurity. Because when you're secure, you don't need to convince anybody else. You really don't. It's sad. It's really sad because you feel alienated. Like, I want to love you and I want you to love me and I want us to be together and I want us to enjoy something together. But if they just don't, if they're just not there, you cannot. Like Frodo and Samwise Gamgee, don't go where I cannot follow. You know, it's like you just can't bring people with you. So you either try to stunt your own growth to be with them and to keep them comfortable, or you follow Morpheus, you follow the White Rabbit, you break out of the Matrix, and you meet a whole other group of people. He had to go with Trinity. He had to go with her. And he had to go on the Nebuchadnezzar and meet a whole new group of people. He had to leave. Think about it. If Neo stayed to fight with his boss and stayed to just be like, you know, and just like fought with, the movie would have ended like 10 minutes in, would have ended. Would have been no Matrix movie, no franchise. If Neo cared about convincing his boss of something stupid and petty and small and insignificant. Think about that. He chose a different pill. He's like, no, I'm going to just see where this goes. He did not prejudge what his experience was going to be. He went with his gut. He went with his intuition. He went with the sign, the omen, the white rabbit. It's hard to see because you're living it, because you guys are in it. You're in your own lives and you're like, oh, this is scary. You know, you're worried about money. You're worried about status. You're worried about what your friends think, what your family thinks. You're worried about being loved. You're worrying about being accepted. You're worrying about where you live and not knowing where you want to live and where you like your law, but it's an adventure. It's an adventure. That's part of it, is not knowing what's going to happen next, but following that inner guidance. That's also Sagittarius energy, is trust. Pisces energy, trust. Even this Chiron energy, trust. You got to believe in your own life, okay? Because this energy is the last big push before the eclipse, before the nodes shift and totally change. What was going on the middle of May to the end of July of this year? That energy comes back at the end of December. Going to be dominant in 2022. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm doing really great on time, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. Today is going to be a lot. We've got crypto sesh. We've got the weeklies. I've got transit trackers to finish up from yesterday. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm having some like posting issues. I'm going to be posting on my social media, on Instagram and maybe TikTok. We shall see. Probably not though, because it's a pretty jam-packed day. And then we also have the 12 sign by sign breakdown. I think I'm going to do the crypto sesh before I do the 12 sign by sign breakdown. I also have something to upload for Practical Magic about an astral meeting place and how to do that. So, and how to meet astrally with somebody else and how to like log in and get into that and how to do it. So I kind of want to do that. I'm really excited to do that. Guys, just like a little bit, just think about it. Where were these big shifts happening for you in your consciousness? December 2020, May 2021. What was new and different and showing you? It was December 2020, May 2021, June 2020 is when it started. Breaking apart is when it all started. So you guys get to decide. You get to decide. You get to decide who you're going to be, what you're going to think, how you're going to believe, how you're going to think. And so it's only as limited as you make it out to be. Okay. I love you guys. Take really, really good care. I will see you guys back here very soon, very shortly. Until then, my loves, many, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings.